Hello and welcome to the Brothers Slam. We're covering the updates I missed yesterday or the previous day, whenever day this is ends up getting posted. Yes, we're going to do updates 5 and 6 of the Enormity campaign today. So, update number 5, new suit, new location, messages from home, the Ghosts of Hala campaign spotlight, and the art of Enormity, which is really cool, in my opinion. Spacer, sadly was a rare pause in our update transmissions. After all, even captains and their crew need some R&R, but fear not, because today we're back with some fantastic news. Day 6 surprise unlock, new suits, the Black Hole suit. Very cool indeed. So no mini sculpts for this one yet, or standee, but it looks pretty sweet from what we can see. The suit was made with an unknown ally recovered from the alien being called the Slender. The ally has some peculiar light and gravity-bending properties. It is also incredibly light. However, after extended use, crew members complained about headaches, night terrors, and extreme cases, hallucinations. The Black Hole suit, as it was dubbed, is a mid-level suit you can craft from the ally of a dead Slender. This suit offers excellent stealth performance, as well as some disturbing abilities we won't spoil just yet. It also sports a unique Rubicon stat line after offering gravity tokens. However, it is detrimental to the wearer's psyche. So once again, a suit is half of your character, basically, which is cool. Community unlock, new location, Automa Shed. People often wonder where the Automas go when not in use. Here, in this storage shed, stacked with service/battery bays for the various robotic units. Pitch black, cramped, and hard to navigate, these spaces were not meant for human movement. Now, after years of disuse, they are more perilous than ever. Nonetheless, they are located at crucial junctions between several ship locations for high efficiency of automata deployment throughout the Shepherd. They make for perfect shortcuts and hiding places, if you're brave enough. You know of at least one abandoned automata shed, and another completely overgrown with fungi. There are bound to be more. Locations are the living, beating heart of Enormity, as they expand the boundaries of our open world, creating more intricate layouts and allowing for many more playthrough permeations. Cool, very cool. So it kind of seems like, for the most part, these new locations are specific points of interest, rather than just like random generic oddball pieces of areas that you can go to. And yeah, cool, very neat. Okay, new stretch goal unlocked. Messages from home, stolen life, one new background story chain. Who were you before you enlisted in the faithful mission to the Shepherd? What happened to you back home? Were you driven to come? Or were you running away from your problems? Or maybe you know much more about this return and the ship's origins flight to begin with. So I'm kind of thinking Messages from Home might be kind of like a mix of like Adventure Hub stories and Aeon Trespass mixed with like the Nemos node unlock system. So basically, like, the stronger your character gets, you can unlock different stories that'll have new unlocks too. Or based on locations you visit, stories will trigger too. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something kind of like that, which will then have different unlocks as you go. Which is cool. I like it. So it's kind of like discovering more about your past as you delve deeper into the ship too. Ghosts of Hala campaign spotlight. So this one is a contender for me. I don't know which expansions I'm going to get in the Pledge Manager. This one is up there though. Let's see. So one box. I think they've said this before. It's just kind of a funny conclusion to say one box because of course. One Eclipse Phantom, Phantasma Peregrina miniature instandee, one Wraith Stealth Spacer miniature instandee, 8 Ghosts of Hala miniature instandee, 2+ characters, 1+ suit. So the plus basically just means that there might be more than what they're saying now. Be it stretch goals we're unaware of, or they're just undecided on the scope of content they're going to release yet. And I will say one thing with ITU is, while generally speaking, I think they're really good at handling scope creep, my goodness, did they pack an insane amount of content into their games. Like, it's nuts. So I wouldn't be surprised if this content list grows substantially for all of the expansions by the time of the end. So interesting. So 4+ monster sheets. Some of them only have like 2+. And so the fact that they already have 4+ is of interest for this one. Mission log. Unknown location. Time unknown. Winds howl on the sheared plains of the barren planet. In our panicked haste, in our burning need to get off that damn ship, we never considered the very real possibility. What if the place we ran to was worse than the place we were running from? Day will break soon. It makes a little difference. Hala's star is pale and all but spent. Eternal twilight. Heavy rainfall. And those things. They come for us whenever we stop to catch a breath, move through walls, rise from below our feet, reach out with their limbs. They mouth something, but sound does not come out. I imagine they're pleading, but they might as well be cursing us. NCEs, non-corporeal entities, though my team keep calling them ghosts. Ghosts of what? Of whom? They take the shapes of Earthborn EVA suits, but that's just mimicry. There was no NASF mission to Hala, right? The wind is getting stronger, and the ghosts flee. Something else comes. I feel a tug at my heart, tremendous guilt, an almost sacred experience. It engulfs us. My suit is melting away. My last moments, I look into my helmet's visor. I see the face of my mother. She's in hell. I go to her. The Ghost of Hala is an intermediate difficulty campaign that should take you 30 to 45 hours to complete. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. And did we get any pictures or anything? Yeah, so I think I said this before, but this is the spotlight, which is basically just the same information on the campaign page, except minus the work in progress sculpt. So like it's cool to get this and to read this and such, but it's more of like a tease of the expansion rather than like a true showcase. But I am really curious with the 4+ monster sheets. I'm curious if the Eclipse Phantom is the thing in the story that's the implication of something else comes, or if it's something else different and it's more of like what made the ghosts, if that makes sense. So I'd be curious. There's so many things, and I've said this in a bunch of videos before, but ITU holds so much back from us during their campaigns that's only revealed later on throughout development or occasionally throughout like actual gameplay too. So yeah, very curious indeed. Space Ghosts is something like Ghosts has never really been my jam, but Space Ghosts with the Enormity game sound pretty sweet to me. Anyways, let's continue on here with the art of Enormity, and this is a personal favorite of updates here so far. Lately, a question has been popping up in the community. Do you use AI to create the artwork for Enormity? Let's clear this up once and for all. We do not use AI to create our art. Every piece you see is brought to life with care, passion, and the unique skills of our dedicated team of artists. Bravo, I like that a lot. To give you a behind-the-scenes look at our creative process, we've invited Damien, one of our talented in-house artists, to walk you through the journey of designing the automas, the intruders introduced in our recent Grand Intruder Spotlight. From the initial sketches to the final designs, we're pulling back the curtain on how the art of Enormity takes shape, which, yeah, this is sweet. After reviewing Martin's brief, the process begins with quick initial sketches to define the direction for the character design. So here we go, a whole bunch of quick sketches, a little bit more advanced, just some general shapes and such. After selecting a sketch that fits the character's personality, our artist creates a more detailed speed painting with color suggestions, and I'm sure that this is an iteration of multiple kinds rather than it just being one. There we go, cool. So just quick color sketch. We work as a team, so other artists often provide feedback and insights, which brings fresh perspective and helps identify potential design issues. Big fan of that. That is cool. After incorporating feedback, our artists create detailed line art from multiple perspectives to ensure accurate lighting for the final illustration and to assist the 3D artist in sculpting the mini, which is good. Next, our artists create a speed painting. It's just kind of a funny, cool thing too. Like, as a consumer of their products and games and such, it's like, yeah, how does the 3D artist render something when the only art that we see is 2D? So it's cool that that's part of the process, that they need to go behind the scenes and provide 3D art for the renderer to be able to reference. Just a fun, cool thing. Next, our artist creates a speed painting that includes lighting and composition, then consult it with Marcin to ensure it effectively conveys the character's theme. So there we are. Yep. Cool. Then we draw the rest of the owl. I don't know if owl is a typo or if there's something on purpose there. There is a smiley face there, so I'm thinking it's on purpose, but what it is, I don't know. There we go. Cool. Creepy. The finished art isn't just beautiful, it's functional. Each piece of art is adapted to its final form, such as miniature, cards, and rulebooks, ensuring that the visual storytelling enhances gameplay. Yep. Very, very neat. And there we are with 3D renders of all of the automas that we'll get in the game. That's it for today, Spacers. As always, we'll see you in the next update and over in the comment section. Let us know, campaign progression, custom campaigns, new intruders, what else would you like to hear about? Drop your suggestions below. Cool. So we'll skip ahead to update number 6. The Glorious Empire Cometh, sneak peek at Wave 2. Plug and new expansion. Spacers, it's hard to imagine that we're 1 week into the campaign already. Time flies when you're stuck in the event horizon of a black hole, I guess. Let's start this week with a look at what's coming in the next 7 days, as well as with the arrival of the Sacrosanct Armada. Intermission, Kingdoms Forlorn plug. Apologies for the same shameless plug in advance, as our other product, the fantasy-themed Kingdoms Forlorn, moves out of development and into production. We're dropping its rulebook and a new TTS demo to celebrate it. Both will be made available tomorrow evening in a Kingdom Forlorn update. Have fun. Cool. So that is live right now at the time of recording. And just some fantastic art from that game too, as always. Unreal art in these games. What are these knights doing in my science fiction? Progression Spotlight. Now back to Enormity. This is before the most requested Spotlight, and I will happily oblige. The Spotlight will cover general mechanics for campaign progression, be it narrative or custom roguelite. It will touch upon personal character progression as well as expansion integration. This update should drop tomorrow. So that's already live as of recording this video, and I actually already uploaded my take on it just because I think it was a really important update to get live for anyone kind of like on the fence or wanting more information about the game, because it was a really in-depth, thorough, awesome update. Text heavy, but it was text heavy because it had to be, basically. And there's some really good design art assets in between too. Okay, so there's just some art to various suits and such, some more suit concepts. So whether or not we'll see these in the actual games, who knows? But pretty cool. This one specifically on the right here does look like it's based on one of the current expansions. So we'll see. Expansion Intruders Grand Spotlight. Later this week, I'd like to repeat last week's magnificent Intruder update with possibly an even bigger one for the Expansion Intruders. As always, expansions are where all the crazy innovation ideas end up, so expect some out-of-the-world designs like the two-part Ratcatcher Mini and teleport mechanics. So here's just a very small example of how much stuff ITU just doesn't show. So the Ratcatcher, part of another campaign expansion I'm kind of curious about, is a two-part miniature. We don't know about that. So it's again, like, I love the way they run their campaigns, but I do think they kind of shoot themselves in the foot sometimes as far as like getting people hyped up for what they're getting as far as new people. So again, returning backers like myself, there's so many surprises and clues and little hints and read between the line things that that ITU does. But for new people, like, that expansion might not have been an interest until learning about things like this. So it's interesting conundrum, because you want to have surprises, you want it to be an ITU campaign, but I feel like it could be more successful by showcasing some more stuff too. So maybe that'll be the case by getting this this update, which is, I think I mentioned it on the last Grand Intruder one, like having an update actually showing all the stuff about the expansions would be really, really beneficial. So stoked to hear that. I think that's awesome. Expansion campaign spotlight. Did I read this? Finally, if I'm alive by the end of the week, I'd like to write some more about the various campaigns and what they bring to the table. Yep, that sounds great. Big keen on that. And it's just kind of funny, if I'm alive by the end of the week, I think every single crowdfunding campaign that Marcin and the ITU team have ran, Marcin or someone close to him has ended up in the hospital. So huge knock on wood, that's how we're able to break that streak. And there's no hospital visits this time around. As the freshly released new ATO cycles can attest, our expansions are much more than just more of the same. In fact, the expansion space is where we can really let our imagination run free and deliver on new, unique mechanics. I'd like to show you what we're cooking for Enormity expansions, like the Glorious Empire of the Thousand Suns expansion arrives. So we have this is the fourth expansion now? Fourth or fifth, I think. It might be the fifth, actually. NASF Coventry outbound transmission, messages to Earth. For so long, we thought we were the only sentient species in the universe, cold and alone. Then we came on board the Shepherd and discovered how foolish we were to think that, and how wrong we were to wish for company. Imagine that somehow, out there, life was different, free of violence, pettiness, and malice. Yet somehow, we made the same mistake again. A vessel arrived under a white flag. We reached out and they responded, a common tongue. We could have shot them down. Instead, we invited them in, another sentient species close to our own civilization level. What could go wrong? What couldn't? We learned they came from a mighty coalition of planets, the glorious empire of the Thousand Suns, if one was to believe the words of their emissary. They asked many questions about humanity and our origins, though we were wise enough to not say anything. Then they told us to kneel and take their god emperor into our hearts, so that we could join the ranks of inferior servitor races. We politely refused. Now their sacrosanct armada bears down on us. They come to cleanse the shepherd of filth, heretics, and unbelievers. Of us. Many of the things on board want us dead, but only the Empire is human-like enough to feel petty hatred and religious disdain. They can never learn the coordinates of old Earth. I really like that line. Only the Empire is human-like enough to feel petty hatred and religious disdain. Just like a really fun, different mechanical story element to this campaign, or to this expansion. Glorious Empires of the Thousand Suns is a moderate difficult campaign that should take you 30 to 45 hours to complete. They come to convert you in the name of their god emperor. Failing that, their holy flamethrowers are ready. Holy flamethrower is terrifying. The Shepherd will be cleansed either way. This is a new campaign expansion, introducing a new narrative campaign, new intruders, a new boss, new spacers, new suits, new gear, new location, and much, much, much more. All content from this expansion can also be used in the modular custom campaigns. Cool, cool. Species, Flamen Fortis, Templar. And then Pallas Casecus, Bloodhounds. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of almost like Covenant in Halo meets like Space Marine vibe a little bit, or maybe more apps rather than Space Marines. Maybe a little bit more of like Halo Covenant meets the Cabal from Destiny a little, with the religious vibes and such. And again, like that's just maybe some potential inspiration, and by no means is it necessarily correct, because there's obviously like very Templar kind of roots here too, and like thinking of Crusades. So knowing ITU, like they'll have a couple different cool ideas that they'll really make their own and flip on their heads too. So really interesting. The design is interesting too. I don't know if this is one that it's not like skyrocketed to my first top 2 picks, and right now I'm not even sure what those are. It is cool though. I do like how rather than it being like a horror, it's more of like a military survival against like religious persecution, for lack of better words, which is a really neat concept, and it sounds like a really good switch up from the usual expansion. Also, sorry, there's some sirens going by outside, which will be probably pretty loud there. There we go. What do we have for 3+ intruder sheets? Cool, 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 cool. And there's just a little breakdown example of what it's going to be, which is cool. This new campaign is already listed among the add-ons. Be sure to check it out and secure your copy to expand your game. So one note there, it's not part of the current expansion pledge. It's probably going to be part of like the gameplay all in near the end of the campaign though. And that's it for today's Spacers. Excited about this new expansion as we are. I'm off putting the finishing touches on KS Learn to Play. Make sure you share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. But don't go too far, because tomorrow we'll be back to learn about something you've been dying to know more. Progression. See you then. So again, at time of this recording, I've already posted a video about that update, and that update's already live. It's a big, really, really good chungus, but a absolute gooder too. But I just figured I would catch up and do these ones to get them out of the way here as well. Yeah, happened to have the day off, and then being a little bit under the weather today, didn't have any cooking, so managed to catch up on all the updates, which was a lot of reading with the old sore throat, but figured it was a worthy time to do so. On that note, though, we'll see you on the other side for some later on more updates and fun, exciting stuff from ITU. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Ta-ta.